Yeah, here it goes. All right, we're good in the hood. Here we come. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Core. This is Core talking about video games on Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. I kind of wish it was 2019.
Yeah. Hey, what if we went back to 2019?
Oh my God, we all complained so much about 2019. There's no going back.
We did, but man,
we didn't know.
Yeah, maybe we didn't know. We didn't know how weird 2020 was going to be. But hello, welcome back. We're glad to be here. We weren't here last week because schedules, but also John had a successful move. John, how'd it go? Everything good? You're all done?
Yeah, I did movers. Let me tell you, a good idea.
Better than having just you do it, is what you're saying. You'd rather have big beefy men move your stuff.
It was fantastic. My old apartment was on the 3rd story. Ooh. It had several flights of stairs leading up to it. There were a lot of big, heavy things that had to be moved. Then they had to drive across town and drop it off at the new apartment. And the whole thing was done in an hour and 45 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was insane. It took me days and days to get the boxes where they needed to be so they could come in and get this stuff. Right. And in an hour and 45 minutes, they took it all, put it in a truck, drove the truck somewhere, took it out of the truck, and put it where it needed to be.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Isn't it just astounding how strong they are?
Who are the beefy men that he hired? Is that what you mean?
Well, I mean, they don't even have to be beefy. Like, I hired movers for my last move, and they weren't that beefy. They were young men, but they're just like, oh, here, this box is a little heavy. And just like with one finger, they're like, okay, I got it. And I'm just like, oh, man, I feel so emasculated, like, instantly.
Oh, yeah.
They're just juggling furniture and rolling down the thing, and I'm like, oh, man.
Only way to do it, though, if you can, like, if you can afford it, do it, because it's the worst. I hate moving no matter what. But if I ever move again, I ain't doing it. I'm having someone do it.
Hire people. It is worth it.
It's worth it. Go into debt for it if you have to. Maybe not in these trying times, but
maybe not that far.
Okay, maybe not quite that far.
It's not that expensive to move.
No. It's like, especially if it's just like cross town or whatever, it's like, I don't know. We have a thing here. I don't know if I should bring this up. I might get in trouble. All right, I'm going to bring it up. I brought it up.
Maybe tell an allegory.
I've told this on TMS before, but there is a thing, especially when I was growing up, maybe not as much now because I haven't had to deal with it, but growing up, if you knew anybody who was of Tongan or what's the other island? There's Tongan or starts with an S. Samoan. If you were Samoan or Tongan descent, you likely lived in a family that either for their main job or on the side would move your stuff or take your tree out of the yard for money. Now, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but it was a thing. So you would get on the phone and say, I'm looking for somebody to remove this 400-pound nightmare oak tree that's been in my front yard forever, and the roots are starting to choke off everything. Can you come do it? 9 times out of 10, 4 Tongan guys or 4 Samoan guys, never mixed because they didn't like each other, would show up at your house and manhandle that tree the F out of the ground. And it was amazing to watch. Yeah. They were strong and huge and just amazing, like, specimens of, like, manly men.
It's crazy to watch because I, shift a little nightstand and I'm like, oh, I got to sit down for a minute. They come in, they put a blanket over something, they tape it all up, they flip them upside down, they toss them. I mean, Bo's not wrong when he's like, they just flip it up like it's nothing. It's true. They're just like, well, let's just go. Like, you're talking, they walk in and then they walk out and half your stuff's gone. And you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
They were here for a second and now all this work is done.
They're straight to business too. They just get right freaking to it and go.
And so I would advise, and I think a lot of people know this, but my advice is always treat your movers very well, offer them water, offer them snacks if you can. They appreciate it. And you should be good to them.
Use the pet option in the dialogue box. Good mover.
Well, I just mean, like, they're doing a hard job. Like,
Yeah, no.
It
good
sounded like
to-
you're taking care of a Pokemon or something.
Yeah, the
Well,
way Bo said it, I was picturing like
Tamagotchi.
it's like a it's like a little wheel, and you're like, all right, time to feed, click, ding, and they kill. You feed the little guy, and then later on you pet him, and I see where you were coming from.
and then you're like, this toy was fun, and you ignore it for a couple days, and then they're dead. And you're like, oh no.
might make a great tycoon game.
Mover Tycoons. Hey, it's not bad. Never seen that before. Let me think about that for a second. Has everyone ever done that? No. Because is it a boring idea? Is that why?
Video gamify it. Just make it like people are moving constantly. Bing, 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 and you got to hire your team.
Yeah.
You got to beef up your roster, level them up.
A little bit of
Get a
crazy
bigger fleet
taxi.
of trucks.
Yeah, get out there, drive the truck back. Try not to get in a wreck. Don't scrape up their furniture.
Open up a secret drug muling truck service on the side. So,
Yeah.
have your illicit side.
I'm into your idea.
Yeah.
Just watching too much Better Call Saul.
I'm ready to pay good money for this early access experience on Steam.
I like that it was going to be early access.
Oh, guaranteed. That thing is not done. It's just going to come out. It's going to come out not finished. It'll be a year and a half before they do anything. Right toward the end, it'll get a bunch of negative reviews because the devs aren't talking anymore. What happened to the devs? They're not saying anything. And then suddenly it'll be out and everyone will be moving on to the next thing. Early access. That's the story in a nutshell. All right.
It's so sad.
It is a little sad. It is a little sad. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works. Sometimes early access is great, and you know when you're watching a dev
Prison Architect was as an example.
Yep.
That thing's constantly being advertised to me, and I'm like, I don't want to play it. I own it. I think.
The other one is Deep Rock Galactic. Those dudes are freaking in my face constantly with updates. It's fun to watch.
The one guys. Like that I'm curious about is RimWorld because it looks terrible.
Oh yeah, it looks so bad.
But everything I read about it sounds like, oh, this is interesting stuff.
Overwhelmingly positive in all of the categories for reviews anywhere I ever see it. It's just off the charts. People love that game. But I look at it and I go, who? This looks like shit. This game that you've made.
Yeah.
I can't play a game that looks this bad, can I? And then I argue with myself and I don't buy it. So give me a $10 sale. Maybe then. Maybe. It's just so ugly, you guys. It's the freaking ugliest video game ever made. Sorry, guys.
Well, but I mean, there's games like that. Like, look how popular games like Dwarf Fortress is and stuff like that. And that's basically ASCII stuff that's stepping
true.
out of that.
But I'd argue, yes, ASCII's worse and I don't want to play it, but there's a level of credibility or respect to the ASCII that we don't give to whatever you call the weird art style that RimWorld and Prison Architect uses. I think it doesn't look good in marketing or to watch. Like
it's a very off-putting style, and I'm a big fan of gameplay trumps the look sometimes. Like I prefer a game to play better than it looks, but I don't know, there's something about it. It looks like some junior high kid scrawled it out on his homework while he was in detention or something. There's something about the quality of the art that just throws me. I can't do it. But anyway, RimWorld, catch it. Now available in early access on Steam. We should talk about some stuff. So kind of a interesting week. It begins with this. Despite all the crackdowns and the people staying home and the whatnot, the social distancing, there is still some stuff happening. In fact, two of the biggest games of the year came out the exact same day. Those games being Doom Eternal for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. And I guess the Switch version is still being made. It's just not coming out at the same time. And then the other was the Switch exclusive, Nintendo exclusive Animal Crossing New Horizons. I picked up both games, one of which I'd already pre-ordered ages ago, and then I had some credit, so that's what I bought Doom with, and played them both on the same day. And I have to say, we'll get into all of our impressions about the games and stuff as we go on here, but I have to say there was something really fun about going back and forth, playing a bunch of Animal Crossing in the kitchen while Kim's watching some show or something. We're kind of trapped here on our own with this pandemic stuff, and so I'm over there just doing stuff on my island, gathering fruit, visiting other people's islands, fixing up my house, paying penance to freaking Tom Nook, the bastard, while he takes all my bells or my money, and having a great time. And then I would leave that and I would go play the gory freaking ballet that is Doom Eternal. And it was a fun contrast to jump between those two games this weekend.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that a lot. And we'll get into the game specifically here in a minute. But it was a big week. And despite the fact that there's so much going wrong, I think both of these games in their own weird way, for some of us, both of them, were cathartic, you know? Like, what's more cathartic than getting some of your rage, your fear, and your frustration out on a bunch of demons with a really cool shotgun that has some extra abilities you never saw in the original game? Or what's better than getting lost on an island full of weird animals and, you know, fishing for the biggest fish so you can sell it and upgrade your house? Like, these were great escapes.
Yeah. Or even on a more, you know, basic level, being told, oh, you got to social distance. You got to social distance. And then you go to a world where you can go and talk to a bunch of animals as close as you want. You can do whatever you want.
Yep. No rules, man. You can get right up in their face. You can give them stuff. Dude, I even have, the first thing I had on my face in that game was I found a mask. A medical mask.
Too real, Animal Crossing. Too real.
So he's running around with that on still and big dumb glasses, and I'm having a blast on there. The game's a mix of, like, Nintendo, they have a hard time letting go of old ideas that they think are important. And the game has a couple of missteps, I would say, that are just weird. It's like, I'll give you an example because I want you to understand my overall feeling about that game is I am so into it. I freaking love it. I'm a fan since the beginning. I love the series. This is more of that and then some. It's great. It is everything I wanted. But there are a couple of things that are weird. One of the features of the game is that it can host up to 8 people in your island. So you and 7 others. Okay?
Yeah.
And the way you do that is you go down to the little airport that's down by the beach and you tell this dodo that runs the airport, and I don't mean he's a jerk. I mean he's an actual dodo. He's a bird. Mm-hmm. You go talk to him and you say, I'd like to open my airport to visitors. Fine, no problem. He says, okay, hang on, goes to the computer, tick, 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 tick. It does something with the internet, and then it says, all right, your gates are open, and these 2 gates in the airport entry thing go, and they open up, and then I can just leave and do my business. Now, what that means is anybody who's on my friends list, or if I've given a code to, or otherwise finds me, they'll see that my island's open, and they can come fly to me, up to 7 of them. When they do that, let's say I'm on the western end of the other side of the island fishing, or I'm planning something, or I found some fossils, or whatever it is I'm doing in this game, suddenly this big blue ticker at the top of the screen appears and says, so-and-so is flying to your island. Now, that's fine. I don't mind that. That's great. Uh-huh. I like to hear that they're doing it. But then it makes you stop what you're doing. The screen then flashes to, like, this fake, you know, when you go to the airport and you're looking up to see the times and arrivals and all that, they're digital now, but back in the day, they were like little ticker things or whatever. So they're just a little animated ticker thing where it says, so-and-so from such and such island, arrival in whatever. And then, again, you can't do anything while this is happening. There's a big screen doing this. There's some music, and it's telling you that they're on their way. Then they have this next screen that, again, you can't do anything. You have to watch these icons of they're flying, they're flying, they're flying, and then the final one says descending. And then that takes forever. Then it fades out, fades in again, and you get to see a bird's eye view of your town and a shadow of their plane flying over it for not very long. When you hear a captain going, we're landing soon, please bring your, like that thing. And then it cuts to the inside of the airport where you see the person come joggling out. You know the little kid in that CNN interview or the British interview where the kid comes out doing whatever he was doing or doing like this. He's like, you're like that. Job of it. He's like that. He comes walking out, and then you see him. So if it's like Brian Ibbott's character, he's all bald and has glasses, and he's kind of made to look like him. For some reason, he's in a tracksuit like an Armenian mobster. I don't know what he's doing. But he comes walking out there, and then you will get to see that, and then he kind of stands and smiles, and then circle wipe, and then now you can do stuff again. So that whole experience, they're so precious about you making sure that you really get to see this thing happen about this guy coming. Now, that might be you'd think, okay, do that once in the game just for funsies and to just show me the ropes of how they're arriving. No. Yeah. They do it every time anybody comes to your place. So if
and you can add up to 7 people concurrently.
In theory,
people could be churning in and out all day.
Oh yeah, totally. Totally, they could. Now, I've never gone on long enough where that's happened to me, but I've had 5 people in at once, my kids and one other a listener or something.
Sorry.
I had to wait for all 6 or 5 or whatever it was of those people. Yeah, it was 5 because I was the 6th. I had to do that for every time that once somebody arrived. And somebody would arrive and I'd be out working away, or they'd be with me and we're trading stuff, and then all of a sudden, bing, so-and-so's flying to your thing. Fade out, do the thing, wait for the thing, wait for it to
Do they
land.
not know the day and age? Like, imagine a streamer streaming their game and they open it up and their chat room's just like spamming their, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
It's
that sounds awful.
really weird. Like,
Why can't people just drop in?
I know.
There's no option maybe to turn that off.
I mean,
Fingers crossed,
no, there's
settings
nothing,
somewhere?
nothing, nowhere. You can't do it. That's what I'm saying,
You
and I don't
should-
actually
you should
think
write
it's
a heartfelt letter to this developer.
I don't even think it's a. I don't think it's a technical hurdle. Oh, that's weird. Everyone's cameras went weird. You're
John,
back
are
now.
you okay?
I changed our server because I lost you guys completely, but I still had internet. So
Oh, you went
Oh,
central.
hi,
Okay.
I'm back.
For us, me and Bo were never left. Anyway, so it's not a technical hurdle. It's them thinking that people like that.
Yeah, I know. There's an
they're-
aesthetic to it, right? They're like, it's important that we celebrate each new arrival in the game.
Yeah. It's like they're precious about it. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
There's this
Yeah,
feeling
they
of
make
like,
a big ceremony. It's a big ceremony.
It's like deliberate. It's like animations you can't skip, or it's like, I don't know.
But you don't have any. It's not like, oh, when I pick this, it's a long wait, but let me do it. It happens randomly to you, right?
Oh yeah, no, there's no
You know,
controlling
You're
it
just like
because
hanging out, and it's just like, hey, so someone could, in theory, to troll you,
yeah,
log in and log out of your server, and just constantly interrupt you until you quit or
Yeah.
close your borders.
it really is so there's a lot of disincentive to have people on your island, in my opinion. It's fun while you do it, but all of that work may not be worth it. Then here's why it's worse. While they're there, you can't use the crafting station. It says visitors are here. You can't do that now. Or you're like, I want to move my furniture around while they're out here looking at my house. I'm going to move my bed to the corner. I'm going to take this arcade cabinet, move it to the other corner or something.
Oh no!
And it'll say, sorry, visitors are here. As if you're prancing around naked with your wiener out. It's just, it
Well, what
won't
are you
let you
supposed to
do
do
it.
with your visitors? Is it just to look at your farm?
You can trade
Or your-
you can trade stuff, so they can drop things. You can pick up things. It's a little Diablo-y that way, the old Diablo way of throwing it on
That's
the ground
cool.
and they
That's
take it.
cool. Yeah.
So there's some of that. Seeing how they look, seeing what their setup is. If they're your best friends, which is an easy thing to set up, so they're not just visitors, they can also like dig up your stuff and they could really F you up if you don't trust them, but they can take your fruit and do some other stuff. And if they need some resources, it's a good place to go get them from your friends. And also your store has other items that their store doesn't. And that's different every day. Oops. So they can go into your store and go, oh, you have these. I don't have these. So I'll buy them here. And also I may be able to say, hey, Ibit, they're giving somebody, Tanner Goodman in our community just did this. He found out that they were paying 500 and something bells per turnip. Turnips are a whole thing. Anyway,
Yeah, it's like the stock market, basically.
kind of, yeah. And Brian was like, whoa, let me get over there. And he went over there and made like $500,000 freaking, or no, sorry, I think he said 50,000 bells in like 10 minutes. And you never make that kind of money that quick. So there's lots of reasons for the exchange, but it's so disincentivizing to have these kinds of weird hurdles, be they technical or otherwise. I just don't understand what they're freaking thinking. I understand that while people are there, some of the rules might have to change, but not giving you the ability to do the stuff you normally do in your town is just really dumb. And then calling and saying that the reason is because, well, you have visitors. You can't do that in front of the visitors.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a tech element on that, because that seems weird. The whole cutscene thing is a kind of, I don't know. Nintendo sometimes gets precious about little things like that. It's not just an Animal Crossing thing. Like it's a lot of things you'll see in games where it's like, we need to make a big to-do out of this little trivial thing because someone there just was really jazzed about it.
Yep.
And you're like, what are we so excited about? The Pokemon games are actually pretty notorious for this. They'll be like, we got a new mode where you dress up your Pokemon and it's got to be a whole thing that you're going to have to do. And it's going to take a really long time. And for people that just don't care about it, it's all of a sudden this weird investment of time that the game is just very excited to introduce you to. And you just don't want to be there.
Well, you said the magic word. There's a preciousness to it. Like they know what's best kind of feeling that they're doing here. And I think it's a mistake. Now they could patch it. The Switch has seen weirder patches and some more surprising stuff. They usually don't do that, but I could see it happening here. So maybe some of that gets refined. Maybe it doesn't. But I don't even remember New Leaf, which was on the 3DS and had online play for up to 4 people. I don't remember any of this. I remember you had to open your gates and you were told when somebody arrived, but you didn't have to sit through their freaking arrival animation every time. It was really weird.
And it just depends on how well it's done too. Like New Leaf did have, you could go to the island with the captain and he'd sing you a little song every time he took you to the island. But I freaking loved the song.
It was great.
I loved it every single time. I filmed it because I wanted to be able to hear it whenever I felt the need to.
Yeah.
I love the little Captain Frog guy and his little song that he sings. I enjoyed that as much now as I did then.
Because that stuff's charming. It's great. There's nothing wrong with any of that. That stuff's great.
So that stuff's good. But yeah, getting interrupted. I mean, I think the thing is that you just don't have agency over it. Like you said,
right.
If I decide to go to the island and I know I'm going to get a weird cutscene, that's okay.
But even then, remember, you could interrupt that boat dude and he'd say, "Oh, you don't want to hear it? Okay." And then you just load in.
Oh man, why would you do that?
I know, but see, that's
going to sing to you.
But that's the power of it, is that you could be excited about the song like you or like me, but like, dude, I just want to get to the island and strip it of its valuable resources. Let's go. Right?
Yeah, it was valuable.
Now, that being said, it's honestly the only bad thing I have to say. There are tons of other places in this game where they have made really great quality of life improvements over previous installments, but also they've added systems here that I think are really good. The Nook Miles system, which I don't want to explain here because it's too hard to explain, but is a really, really cool kind of questing system that just really makes it, there's always something to do and it's always compelling to do it, I feel. I love going to islands and taking all their stuff and bringing it back to mine. I love making the money. I love planting the trees. I got all the fruit. They have a kind of an achievement system tied into this Nook Miles thing that creates a separate currency that lets you buy really rad stuff you couldn't get with regular money. It's good. It's very, very good. It's just that weird multiplayer business. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Now, maybe I haven't done
struggles with internet and multiplayer a lot.
That's true. Now, I haven't tried this with local, right? So you can do 8 people in a local environment as well. Just 8 switches, everyone playing together. Let's not think for a minute about what that actually costs for people to do that. But anyway, let's imagine that that's a thing where you got 8 people in a room. Maybe they don't have all this rigmarole and you can just go in and out because you're on a local area network and it doesn't matter and they don't have weird internet stuff going on. I don't know.
I doubt it.
It's because everyone's separated the way we are now. I can't test it, so I don't even know.
Is it people on the same network or is it like near field communication?
It's like, that's a great question. I assume it's near field, like people are Wi-Fiing back and forth.
Like, isn't there a thing where you could tap 2 switches, or maybe it was a different console? I thought there was one you tapped your 2 handhelds together and then they paired.
Oh, maybe
which one did that.
Was that a thing?
Switch, maybe.
I don't remember. But it just seems like in this day and age they really should be better about that multiplayer stuff. And maybe it was just an afterthought. I don't know, because there's parts of this game that are really like fleshed out. Like, John, you remember the New Leaf, what's it called? The museum, right?
Yeah.
And the museum worked like this. You'd go talk to that dumb owl, and he'd evaluate your stuff. He does all that still after he built it. By the way, you kind of start with nothing. You go to this island, and you build tents to start with, and nobody lives there. And it's starting to feel like Jim Jones is going to make you drink Kool-Aid, and I'm not kidding. It's real weird. It's freaking, what's his name's on a mic all the time, Tom Nook. Saying,
on a mic?
Yeah, he gets on a microphone and he's out in this like dirt pile in the middle of this camp, in the middle of this island, going, "We will be the greatest island in the land of islands. No island will be more fun to be with." And I'm like, dude, I'm not drinking Kool-Aid at the end of this. I don't know what you're doing.
No.
So he's a freak. But anyway, and his 2 weird nephews are selling you all the stuff.
Hold on, I got an important question. I don't mean to derail you, but I just thought of it. Is what's her name the mayor's secretary?
She's
from New Leaf
so far nowhere to be seen. Doesn't mean she won't. Doesn't mean she won't show up, because like right now I'm just getting to the part. So okay, let me back up. Blathers, the dumb owl from the museum, he shows up Or no. Nook tells me, hey, he's flying in here to check this place out. You should talk to him tomorrow when he gets here.
Does he take a plane or does he fly because he's an owl?
I don't know, but they don't pause it to make you wait. That's the fun part, is I don't have to do that. But they set up a really temporary tent for him. I go see him, and he says, "Oh, I'll take your donations. That'd be great. I'd love to have a museum here, but we can't afford it yet. I need some better donations." So you start giving him like dinosaur bones and whatever, and eventually he's like, you know what? I think we're gonna do this. I just need this much wood or whatever. So you give him some wood. You give wood to the owl. And the owl launches the full-blown museum. Takes overnight for it to show up because the game runs in real time, and now it's a full museum. I go in there, and in New Leaf, when you went in there, you'd go into the different corridors, right? This is the butterfly area. Here's the dinosaur area. You go into those, and they were just kind of plain in one room, and little exhibit set up, and you can see which ones you donated. Not a big deal. You walk into this thing. It's like you're in the Smithsonian. It's bananas. It's huge and like kind of pretty. And like graphically, this is a huge bump for this game, generally speaking. But everything's got like multiple rooms and levels. And I feel like the detail that went into on this stuff. It's just almost like that team and whoever came up with this half-ass multiplayer stuff never ever had lunch together. They don't know each other. They're like in different planets. So it's very odd, but the game itself is a welcome thing. I love this series. My kids love it, so we're all playing together every night as much as we can, or at the very least, we're doing things like, oh, hey, my store had a barbecue. Do you want it? And Taylor will go, oh, yeah, I'd love it. I'm doing an outdoor thing. Okay, cool. And you can mail the barbecue through their little mailbox thing, and they'll just get it. It's like WoW mail. Think of it as how WoW does mail. It's like that.
That's cool.
And yeah, that part's cool and and you don't have to sit through dumb animations to get it. You just do it. So to me, that's where the multiplayer works well and it's fine. And you can send letters back and forth and just surprise each other or whatever. When I go to other people's towns, I draw a butt on their bulletin board because you can draw a butt up there if you want, or we can draw whatever, but I put a butt,
You should.
Yeah, always put a butt is what I say. What else can I say about it? It's just very good. If you like this kind of thing. I mean, I'm not going to... People who like Animal Crossing, you already know why you like it, and I can promise you there's way more of that plus a bunch more, and those are all good reasons to like it. If you've never played it, you might like it. If you have played it and didn't like it before, I'm not sure this is going to change your mind. So you maybe,
I have never played an Animal Crossing.
I mean, I think you'd like it just because you like fiddly
Probably.
stuff. Yeah.
Like it sounds like massively unappealing. Like when it's described and it's talked about, it's just like it always makes it worse. But I somehow know on some level it's probably got a fun game loop.
Yeah.
And, people who like it for a reason. And I think it could be something I would find enjoyable, but I can't work up any will or desire whatsoever. Like no excitement.
I totally get it. I totally get
you're
it.
like, oh, this is a great game, Animal Crossing. You can do everything you just described. And I'm like, it's like someone inviting me to a wake for a family I don't know. And I'm just like, I'm not going to go. Like you got to do better than this.
Yeah, it's hard.
But
it's a hard sell.
It has to be what it is. It's just, I need to just try it. I don't know.
I universally love Animal Crossing games.
Yeah.
Everyone I've played, I've enjoyed, but I still don't have a Switch.
It doesn't have a Switch, yeah. And based on some of today's news, you may not have a Switch for a while, given what we...
Maybe not, because apparently they're really hard to get. I think that new Animal Crossing one looks really good, but I want a Switch Lite. Like, I've decided that if I get a Switch, that's how I'll get
that's
one.
all I've played this on. By the way, I have a little... Do you see these little blue handles I have?
What I love is how mismatched it is.
Well, we did this on purpose because Dunaway has the blue, the Switch that is this blue, and then he has the holder thing he bought. The accessory is the yellow. So I had the yellow light, so I thought, well, I'm going to get the blue holder. So now
it's the Finland colors, I think.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, blue, and it's Finland or Sweden, maybe.
Oh, that's cool. I really like it though. It's got nice scripties on it. It's pretty good. Anyway,
look at the Sweden flag. It's like the Swedish flag.
It's just a thing he and I did for the Boop Show. But anyway,
yeah, it's nice. I think it looks nice.
Yeah, it works out good. His
has
is just
a little
the
personality to it. Makes it feel like it's yours instead of everybody else's.
Exactly. I mean, you can get the yellow, but I just thought that sounded dumb, so I decided to color block on this thing. But
well, nobody's sharing consoles.
Not
now.
anymore. Not anymore.
So you can't share your Switch, and guess who's not getting a lend of the PlayStation 4 for freaking Final Fantasy VII?
Oh
no! Back to square one.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I'm gonna have to buy it. There's no way I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. So
it's a done deal, right? You're gonna play it.
I'll figure something out.
You got to play it.
I have to play it. It's gonna happen. I will find the funds for it.
Yeah.
People are gonna expect us to talk about it, Bo.
We need
Who
someone
else
to
is
play
gonna
it. You got to play it.
But I need to actually play it. Like, I'm so hot for it. I need to play it. So.
Yeah. You've got, look, if you have an erection for longer than 4 days, get that game and play it.
Exactly. So I'm going to get the PlayStation 4, pretty sure.
All right.
Just not sure if it's going to be a pro or a regular one, since I don't want to spend the extra money on a benefit I'm not going to really benefit from.
Yeah, I wonder, I haven't heard in that game's case if there's any real advantage of a pro over a regular or not. Sometimes it's hard to tell with those things.
Sometimes it's a big deal. Sometimes it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, these little half-step consoles on both sides are weird. They didn't really to me. They didn't pan out the way I think I'd hoped they would. They just weren't big jumps.
No.
But anyways, the only other thing I would say is don't break your Switch because Nintendo has shut down all American-based repair centers. So don't break your Switch, okay? I'm going to put it gently over here, gingerly, as John would say. There it is.
Gingerly.
I put it down gingerly because they shut them down this week with no idea when that would open again. But quite literally, you won't get support if your Switch breaks. So even if it's a warranty thing, you're stuck for a while. So
there's also a shortage. So if your answer is, well, I'll go buy another one while I wait, you can't do that either.
Yeah, you can't get Switches anywhere. Although, and copies of Animal Crossing are super scarce. The game is a bona fide monster hit. Even for people who haven't played it, they don't understand, or people that don't like it, or like they don't get why this is a popular series. This is a huge series for them, and it's going to sell like crazy.
You know what part of Animal Crossing I think Bo would get into?
What's that?
Like, and again, this isn't going to sound like a good thing, but this is the part that if Bo ever came back and was like, guys, I love Animal Crossing, I think the thing he would get into is the people that move into your town, because there's always weird little quirks to the like animals that move in, and they're the kinds of things that Bo gives to his characters in D&D.
Yeah,
like you always get the guy that's like, bro, what's going on, bro? I just moved into this town, bro. And like that's just how he talks.
Is that like a random affectation that is
it's super dad jokey. Everything about it's dad jokey. Like the first time I caught a black bass fish. He always says something, a quippy line when you catch a fish. And when I caught the black bass fish, he pulls it up and goes, woo! And he says, the text says, a black bass fish, the most metal of fish. And then you put it away. Like it's dumb stuff like that, or hey, it's a perch. Where else are these birds gonna stand? And he puts it in his pocket, like all the time. Dumb jokes like that. Tom Nook, full of stupid shit. Like I don't know who's in charge of the localization for Nintendo, but they kill it every time. It's all good. And the documentation, the conversations you have with other animals is often very funny and super weird. And I don't know why it's good. It just is. It's just good. It's just really good. All right. It's enough about that. I'll shut up about that game now.
Well, I can get the appeal. You can sit there all day and play SimCity or any number of games that it's a simulator of a sort, right?
True that. That's fair. That's a fair way of putting it. All right, we're saving our Doom talk a little bit until we talk about games, because I only played 2 games this week and it was Doom and that. Animal Crossing and Doom. So we're going to talk about that when we get to games. GameStop's not looking so great. They're probably going to go away. They were in a little bit of trouble because they were staying open in places that had lockdown orders from local governments and doing it anyway, telling their employees to tell police that they were an essential retail.
Essential service.
Yeah, essential service.
So they were in a lot of hot water to Doom Eternal release, and nobody cared. But
no,
during the lead up to that, it was a big topic of conversation. And we have a counterpart to your GameSpot up here in Canada, and that's EB Games.
Oh yeah,
It used to be for Electronics Boutique.
We used to have them here. They don't have them here anymore. Yeah, they used to be EB. We had Babbage's, EB, Software, etc. And then GameStop came and gobbled most of that up. But I think EB survived in Canada or something.
We have some Canada stores. Yeah. I mean, they're everywhere, and they're pretty much GameStop. Like, you know, when I picture a GameStop, I just picture an EB Games, and it's probably fairly similar.
Yeah.
But I went to a GameStop and shopped on the Thursday last week to get some Steam Wallet funds, and I was happy they were open. I was like, this is essential. I need to play Doom Eternal.
Yeah. What do you do there? You just say, hey, I want Steam dollars, or how do you? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, just have gift cards. Someone laughed at me and said, well, you could have gotten that at like a Shoppers Drug Mart, which I think is a CVS for you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you can get gift cards at the drugstore.
Is that a CVS? Can you really? Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Can I do that now? Can I go to CVS?
Yes, you could go there right now. You can get
gift card for freaking pizza at a.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know I could get game stuff there. Never saw that before.
Man, there's like League of Legends cards. Like, it's just crazy. You'll be in a drugstore and it's like, oh, it's for boring people like beauty products, and it's for cleaning yourself and headache medicine. And you turn the corner, it's like
what I do.
League of Legends.
CVS, clean myself.
Game cards.
Wow.
Well, you buy soaps and stuff,
Sure.
In your body, shampoos
for your body.
Get those soaps for your body.
Yeah, you need to get that. It's the funniest, weirdest clarification ever about what soap's for. But all right.
Yeah, well, they're so prodigious.
We only braved one store.
Dish soap.
Oh, yeah, dish soap. We only braved one visit so far during the big part of the crackdown, and that was well, that's not true. We've taken food to a family who's sick from another sickness who needed food. We took cold medicine to a guy who has borderline pneumonia, but again, not COVID-19, but something else. It's funny, those diseases don't take a rest during all this. They just sort of still happen the way they happen to people. But I'm glad, John, you had yours before all this. I'm so glad about that, because now you're not doubling up, or have the risk of doubling up, I should say. But anyway, took some NyQuil to a guy, but we always leave it at their doorstep. The most in-store thing we've done is we went to a Sprouts, which is like mostly fruit and vegetables and, kind of that kind of store. It was great, man. We were in there with plastic gloves, and the people there were wearing the masks and the whatnot, but that place was stocked. It was great. There was everything you needed. Nothing was out. Oh, except spaghetti sauce for some reason. That was weird.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But that's the bravest we've been. Not bravest. It's just we don't want to. We're trying to adhere to this. Trying to help.
Yeah.
We're trying to help.
I went to a Safeway on Monday.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Fine. They actually had a lot of stuff, but it made me want to play Fallout again. Because there was this lady. You know how sometimes when you're doing the grocery shopping, there's just somebody you pass in every aisle, like you're doing the every aisle thing.
Yeah.
And they're just going the opposite way, and you just pass each other every time.
Sure.
So there's this lady that I was just passing every single aisle. And I'm not kidding you. She was wearing a mask, but it wasn't just like the little paper mask. It was like a ventilator with like vents on the side and stuff.
Oh,
so
wow.
It looked kind of cool and wastelandy. And she had like kind of wild hair, and she was wearing a large like leather style coat. She looked straight out of Mad Max. Cool. She had a shopping cart, and she was just like, the shopping cart was stacked and overflowing full of stuff. And she's just going down the aisles quick. She had gloves on. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you are straight out of a Fallout game.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just looking at it, and I'm just like, I'm in that world. I have full immersion here in the grocery store.
You should have talked to her, and she'd have a quest or something for you, or I don't know how that works.
You should show her your paper.
Yeah.
You ever seen paper?
Oh my gosh, dude, that's crazy. Did she yell at you, I run Bartertown, and then speed off the other direction, or?
I wanted to talk to her, but she was very intense.
Wow.
That like my brain just associated her with like a raider. Like, don't make her mad.
You should play Fallout. What if you were going to play Fallout? What would you dust off and play right now?
I'd probably do 4 because I haven't played much of it. I've only played a little bit of 4. It just didn't stick like 3 did. I think 3 is the better game, but
I like 4
would be
a
mostly new experience for me.
Yeah, I like 4 a lot. I think New Vegas is my game, but I wish it looked like 4. I guess it can because I can mod it and stuff. But yeah, for me, New Vegas is the best that thing ever got. All right. Well, there's that story. So GameStop. Oh yeah, and then GameStop. There's just no way. I cannot see a future, and I'm not wishing this on them. Okay, everybody. I don't wish this on anybody. But I don't know how they survived this. They were already on the edge.
Well, they have Fils ME, don't they?
They have Fils-Aimé.
Well, Fils
I
ME,
thought-
yeah.
Thought Bo was asking for something. I was worried.
It's Fils ME or Fils ME?
I thought it was Fils-Aimé. It's not Fils-Aimé. I don't know.
Well, Englishers have to say it a certain way, but it's Fils ME.
I have a. Do I still have this old file? Let me see.
Like Fils, Fils in French. I don't know if it's French's last name. It might be Dutch or something else. I don't know. But or Fils is your son.
Yeah.
Nick is your Fils.
Well, he's an islander. He's like, I was talking about Tongans and Samoans. I think he's Samoan, and he's got a pretty traditional name, I think. Where's
Do they speak French there?
Maybe Fils-Aimé.
It's a very French-like name, anyway. It just looks French to me.
Oh, maybe it is.
And "aimé" means like loved.
Oh,
So it's like loved son almost.
I used to have a great clip of him saying "We fit is it," but I can't find it. I think it's on an old
We
hard drive.
fit
is it? Yep.
Like he's got that presenter tone down.
Okay. So his parents immigrated to the United States from Haiti. That's a Haitian ass name. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Well, that explains the French then. Okay.
Yeah, because they have a different dialect, so their French is like not quite French.
I thought he was Polynesian for some reason. I don't know why I thought that.
I mean, I think they just call it Creole, right?
Well, Creole's more
or Haitian or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, speaking Haiti, I want to get this right.
We'll never get it
This is
right.
gonna be the second rule after the core guys don't talk about sports.
Yeah. Okay. Their official languages are both French and Haitian Creole. So we were right.
I have Creole seasoning upstairs, so there's that.
Anyways, they're because I speak French. I can speak with Haitians in French, and their names are always a little different. Like it's hard to explain. I'm trying to think of an English analog.
Well,
Who speaks English weird in the world?
Reginald Fils-Aimé, known for his time at Nintendo, obviously, also his time at Pizza Hut before that.
Yeah, the Bigfoot pizza was under his eye.
That was his deal, and I think it went really well for them. And
was he also responsible for the large Sicilian or the spicy Sicilian? I don't remember what it was, but man, that pizza was good.
It was
but
good.
You basically lived in the bathroom once you had some.
Oh yeah, it was the greasiest, most thickest, breadiest thing you ever ate. You just not.
Yeah, it
not
was
good.
like, I'm feeling like I need to just push everything through my system. Let me get a large Sicilian from Pizza Hut. We'll just clean the whole works out.
It might have been him. Who knows? But he's on the board is his deal now with GameStop, and that usually doesn't mean a lot. He's not CEO. He's not directly involved in the day to day of that company. He sits on a board with a bunch of other people. He's got his own stuff on the side. He's doing investments and other things. I don't think he has a whole lot of say. And since this came out of nowhere and no one expected it, I just cannot see how that board, that leadership, that CEO, or anybody involved in GameStop, I don't know what they do here. They'd have to get a direct bailout to survive this because they were digital was already killing them. I just don't know how it's tenable. I feel bad about it.
Nobody wants physical products like for their entertainment, right? Like no one's going to want to go to a store and get COVID.
25 cents for Madden.
Right. But I mean, if they're going to, here's the other thing. If you are that person, you're already switched over to getting it at Walmart or Target or somewhere else. You're getting it via Amazon and through the mail and just having it show up on launch day. If you're that serious about physical media. So you have that threat. Then the other threat of so much uptick in digital distribution and delivery. Why would they think they would survive that? I just don't know how they do. After this, there's no way. And it bums me out.
There as a middleman to higher up. Is it like we're about to turn this ship around and our payday's coming in? Like, or do they know that they're marching into death? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
You kind of know, like, I'm just going to walk this road until I'm in the ground.
I mean, probably there's probably a feeling of inevitability around that place. It's hard to say.
I was out of there before it shifted. Like I worked there when it was still very much physical media. There wasn't, I think I left during the Xbox 360 days, maybe even before that, actually. So
And
that wasn't really a fear at the time. That was when they were at their best, because it was like, well, where else are you going to buy games and
yeah, and they
trade them in and all that?
they were really the lords of all they surveyed in that market for the longest time, and technically they still are, because nobody else survived and or wants anything to do with it. So I just don't know how they do it, and I kind of hope they figure out a way, because I don't want to wish all those employees or anybody else any harm. I would like to see this work out, but after this, I don't know, man.
No,
It was an awesome first job to have.
Yeah, I'll bet it
say
was.
that.
I'll bet it was great, especially because you're a game nerd and you love this shit. You know,
Yeah.
there's reasons to celebrate. I used to love going in a place like that, like back in the Software Etc. days, and then Babbage's, and then these guys. I just used to love it. I was just like, I cannot wait to go in there and just look around. I don't even have to buy anything. I just want to smell the smells and see the sights and wonder if I should get that used copy of Blast Core on the N64 or whatever. I used to love that, but and like in the mall now, if there's one in there, I'll go in. Like if I'm in the mall, I haven't been in the mall in a while, but you know, next time I'm in the mall, I will go, because I like going in there. The idea that that'll just be gone forever is a bummer, and it's easy to throw shade on them for all the, you know, missteps and missed opportunities. But I'm actually surprised they've survived as long as they have. I don't know how Barnes and Noble is staying around. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's true. We actually had locally here in Ottawa, there's a company called Mrs. Tiggy Winkles.
What?
Well, let's see where their problems started.
No, they've been around for a long time. Like as long as I've been alive. When I was a kid, that's where you go to buy all the cool Lego, the board games you couldn't get at the Zellers or the Walmarts of the day, Kmart. You know, like the cool toys and interesting, slightly more expensive, but couldn't find anywhere else kind of puzzle experiences, or you know, just, you know what the kind of items I'm talking about. I'm sure there must be a big chain that does this, but they've been operating forever, and they just closed down a few weeks ago, and basically they're just losing to Amazon. Like people will come in and window shop and then go home and buy it online.
So when you say was it just
like a showroom for their competitor, basically?
Was it just before things got weird with the coronavirus?
Yeah, it was before coronavirus, because it was like on the turn of the decade or whatever. Like it was it's still pretty recent, but it was before. It had nothing to do with coronavirus. They were just crash and burned after like a lifetime, like a few generations. It's not like 10 or 20 years. I just don't remember how long.
That's just crazy.
But they have multiple stores, but they're local, but they're just choked out. Like everyone just goes to the Tiggy Winkles store, Mrs. Tiggy Winkles, and says, "Oh, cool stuff. Let's go online and buy it."
Did they have like it's Titty Winkles, or what's her name? Sorry.
Titty Winkles.
Titty Winkles is still open, Scott.
Oh.
It's not as popular because we have to social distance, but it's still open.
Okay,
I was
good.
just gonna say Titty Winkles might be a cool NPC name for D&D.
Oh, do it. Bring it into the thing. We need to hear it.
I'm Titty Winkle.
I'm Titty Winkle. But okay, but whatever her name is, what was my point? I had a point. I can't remember. Oh, did they have a mascot? Was it a lady? Was she like, children?
No mascot. Just what it was called. It almost had an old time sort of. If you harken back to like maybe the 70s of what a toy store looked like there, it kind of was frozen in time a bit because it was local. It didn't exactly update their look as quickly as big competitors.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I love that. I love that kind of place.
Yeah, it was a special place. I know the name sounds weird, but they were special places that like anyone you talk to locally would be like, "Oh yeah, that place is awesome." Nobody buying anything there though.
Is that where you get your video games? Was from a place like that?
No video games. It'd be toy, like your Super Legos.
Oh.
You know, just like think of anything weird like Slinkies, but you know, you get the basic Slinkies at the Walmart, but if you want like the massive Slinky, you got to go to this place. You know what I mean? Like.
So it's a bit like sounds like Toys R Us here in the States. Did you guys have Toys R Us?
Yeah, but it's like again the specials. They didn't have like the Barbies, like the run of the mill toys. Okay. It's like all the special edition toys, you know?
Yeah, like FAO Schwartz or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's FAO Schwartz is what it's probably like.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just thought of this. Probably because we were talking about weird places to buy video games, but I remember a time when if I wanted a new video game, my parents had to take me to Sears.
I remember Sears they had a whole section, man. Like it was probably late or maybe early, like just post Dreamcast, just PlayStation 2 just happened. Like right around then.
This was Genesis stuff I was getting from Sears, and it was in a case like a jeweler's case. Like you look down into it, it's like, "Ooh, would you like to select a video game?" Oh yes, I'll take Sonic the Hedgehog 3, my good man.
Yeah, is that the one where Knuckles is there? Sure, give me that. I think that's I think we got like our first Atari there when I was a little kid. And I think I may have got my NES there. So yeah, Sears had a role to play for a while. Now they're gone.
But I will forever feel bad that kids these days are not going to know the crazy, enjoyable experience that was buying video games from a Toys R Us.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
That was a freaking awesome way to buy video games. That felt so cool to grab your little piece of paper and you're like, I'm getting Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
And then you would take it up to the cash register and they would just scan a piece of paper, you'd pay it, and then you had to go to a special booth where a guy would open a little window and be like, what are you getting? And you'd be like, Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
And then he'd disappear back into this room for a little while, and then he'd come back and he'd give you Echo the Dolphin.
Because the real games, all you have were the little laminated cards to grab. But back there was a whole vault of video games, and he had access to it in the cage. Yeah. It was good.
As a kid, so the one I went to, it was bricked off. You couldn't see anything. It was just a window into like a brick room, and it might as well have been a portal to a magic video game land back there, because you could hand this guy anything, and he'd come back with video games, and it was amazing.
I love that. I love that story. Yeah, so this is basically us just talking about how, we'll miss retail stuff as much as I love, and I am all digital, man. I'm all in. I don't even have a CD-ROM drive in this PC. Like, I don't care about physical media, and I probably never will again, with very few exceptions. Once in a while, you have a one-off or a collector's edition or something that matters to you beyond just the game. But games themselves, movies, films, all that, it's just, I don't care now. So that being said, I still think really fondly on those things, and I'll miss them. It's a sad little moment on our show. We should have sad music for it. Here.
Well, they technically haven't closed down yet.
Here, John, we're going to do one of these.
Yes, Martha.
Go.
I write to you today because I'm sad. Morale in the camp is an important thing, and, well, we need entertainment for that. I remember the days of old Martha looking into a cabinet in a local Sears to find video games and entertainment. Those days are gone. Then I went to Toys R Us and gave a man a card. He would disappear and come back with video games for me. Those days are also past. And now, Martha, the last bastion of video game purchasing, a place where I can ask for a video game and then be told to buy a magazine and pre-order something and ask if I'm interested in a t-shirt or maybe a strange generic-looking toy associated with the product. Also, will I give them my phone? And, hey, did you know there's a special edition that you could buy instead? And here's 5 random facts you maybe didn't know about the game. You can get that too. Well, now that experience is behind us as well. Martha, I don't expect I'll ever see you again. Like GameStop, I'm being put out to pasture, never to be heard from again. Yours, in this life and the next, Retail Guy 4.
You had to hesitate to think of what retail guy you were. That was a great thing. You settled on 4, but I could tell your brain was really working on what number to pick.
I thought maybe you were going to leave it. I thought you were going to leave it.
Yeah, I was unsure. I had my finger on the button. I'm like, do I crank the music up now? But I thought you had a number coming, and I was going to wait. And there it was. Oh,
you forgot to offer disc protection.
Oh, man. Dang.
That's what kind of punishment would you get if you missed your spot check?
Yeah, what would happen?
I didn't do so many of the things. There was a specific way they wanted you to answer the phone. I didn't do that. They wanted you to go, thank you for calling GameStop, where you can pre-order insert hot new video game here. How can I help you today?
Yeah.
No, not doing that. People don't want to hear it. If they want to pre-order a video game, they'll tell me when they get on the phone with me.
Yeah, I hated that. I hate that when anyone does that.
Good.
I don't like when McDonald's does it. Can I get you a 400-pound Baconator butthole expressor, whatever? And I'm like, no, I know what I want. It wasn't that. That's not the idea I want.
Wait, can I recap? A 400-pound Baconator butthole with espresso butter? Did I get that order right, sir?
If they have that, maybe I do want it.
I kind of want it. I want to know what espresso butter is.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
On my Baconator.
My Baconator. Who makes the It's not. That's a thing, but who makes that?
That's Wendy's.
No, Wendy's does. Yeah. I don't go to Wendy's very often.
Because every time I have a Baconator,
Yeah.
it feels like a rock in my stomach. It is only the Baconator. I get this stomach ache, but it's in a very specific, precise spot.
Oh, that's not good. You don't want that. You've got,
That's
but
the
you got a
bacon
pile.
zone.
Yeah, you got a bacon pile up in your sigmoid or whatever. That's not good. Don't do that.
I don't know. Well, if any other bacon's fine. Just Baconator bacon. Oof.
Oh, John, that reminds me because I just said sigmoid.
Yeah.
Do you remember in the older, I guess the DS game and the 3DS game for Animal Crossing, you would sometimes the crack in the earth was like a fossil, sometimes it was gold, whatever. Sometimes it was those little dancing little totem guys.
Yeah, that would just.
And they were called like diggeroids or sigmoids or whatever they were called. They had a name like that. They don't have those at all in here. There's
What?
none of them. I've never seen
What am I
one.
gonna fill my house with? That's stupid, useless, and makes a lot of noise.
Oh, there's tons of that. Don't worry.
Okay.
There's tons of that. I just found in a tree. I shook a tree, and what fell out was one of those boxing bags where people are like one of those. I have one of those now, and it was in a tree. I just shook the tree and it fell out.
Who lives on this island? Bunch of animals.
It's insane.
Throwing those up in a tree.
It makes no sense. I found a guitar in a tree, an electric guitar.
That I understand.
Now it makes sense. All right, time for this. What have we been playing this week? Well, I've talked ad nauseum about Animal Crossing. Nobody else has played it, so I'm now going to shut up about it and instead ask you guys what you think of Doom Eternal. I will first, before passing it to Bo, because I want to hear your thoughts first, I think it's harder than the last one and longer than the last one. And I like it more than the last one. All right, what do you think?
Best game so far of the decade.
Whoa.
Jeez.
So we're only 3 months into the decade.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, and like nothing has come out so far.
I thought you meant the last decade, meaning of the last 10 years, this is the best game of the last 10 years.
The reviewers have it wrong. This is a 10 on 10 game.
Oh.
I don't know what they're waiting for if this game isn't a 10 on 10 game. It is an ultimate expression of form. It feels like something new, even though there's nothing. Everything that's new is expressed in the feel and the gameplay aesthetic, and not, the graphics necessarily. Because yes, it is a step up in a new engine, but it still feels a bit like Doom 2016.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Certain parts give me nightmares. Like they're scary. Super Gore Nest is amazing. How far have you guys gotten into this?
I'm only in probably 2.5 hours, and so I don't actually know where I'm at.
First, there's 13 missions.
Yeah.
So 1 or 2 missions.
Probably
maybe?
maybe 3. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I'm assuming you beat it, Bo.
No. I've played all weekend. This game, I'm playing on Ultra Violence, and apparently I should try Nightmare because it's different difficulty in this game, but we'll get to that later.
So
But
I'm at a place where the inside of your hub, the colored palette changes.
Oh. You're a little
Inside of
further
your
than
HUD?
me. You're a little further than
Hub.
me. Hub.
Like you're the main place you hang out. The
oh,
big
okay.
ship.
So you're okay. I get what you're saying. So you're like maybe midway, probably. Yeah. But this game is amazing. So I'm using all 3 of my save slots. So what I'll do is I'll play the missions and I'll go back and unlock things, and then I've been playing over and over the missions constantly, and then I get to a point where I get stuck, and it's kind of hard, and I'll go back and I'll just unlock things, and I'll come back and then I'll beat it. I've played the game over up to mission about 9 3 times.
Oh my gosh. You really played a lot. That's crazy.
And then I've been doing I got all the secrets. I've been doing all the side stuff. I've not been looking it up. This is one of the best games I've played since Heroes. Like, it's a Heroes of the Storm level launch for me.
Well, you said the reviewers have it wrong, but it's got a healthy, it's like 90% or higher everywhere.
I think Bo's just saying he won't accept anything less than a perfect score.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It should be a 10. Like, I don't know what's wrong with. I don't know what they're waiting for. Basically, like, it's not perfect, but no game is perfect, and no game serves all players anymore. Like, I think gone are the days where there's so few games that these flagship games are the ones you want to show. Doom is the game when someone doesn't play video games is the game I want to show people to be like, look how awesome gaming is. And I did that this week.
Oh wow!
I'm like, somebody who hasn't played since like Dr. Mario. I'm like, you know what games are like these days, dude? And he's like, no, it's just like, like fun little thing. I'm like, come check this out. And I brought him to my desk, showed him Doom Eternal. He was like, holy shit! Ah! He's like, what? And he was decapitating things. I'm like, yeah, son, gaming. And so I'm super stoked about this game. This is, it's perfect. It's perfect.
I am so happy to hear your review. I love that you love it so much. I really like it so far. And like, if I hadn't been so tied up with Animal Crossing, it'd be all I would be doing. And it sounds crazy
it's tough to split. I didn't have that problem. Basically, Borderlands 3. I've played 44 hours since Friday.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But you're getting you're getting a lot out of that. So
I mean, it's like you said, it's 2016, but better, harder. But the way it's harder is that you learn to master it, and then it's not hard anymore. There are enemies later in the campaign. Oh, those marauders! Holy crap!
Yeah, I hear they're really hard.
They're really rough. But once you start to get it, then you're like, these things are easy. That's what's good about this kind of hard. Some hard is just hard.
Yeah, and
it's just always hard. And Doom is like, if you practice at it, you'll be like, oh man, these things are all, they're all blind. I own them now. They're not owning me. Like, I totally know how to dispatch these guys super easy. It's really good.
It's also really good. It just feels like a kind of a ballet. There's a rhythm to it. If you're playing well, you get into a Zen mode. It reminds me of like just a hard Tetris where you're just focused and you're getting it right, and you're chainsawing the guys you need to. You're doing finishing moves on the ones you need to, because you need either the health or you need the resources. You're doing flame stuff on guys when you need armor, and then you're repeating that sequence but doing it in a way that's kind of elegant in a weird way. I mean, 2016 was like this too. I just feel like they really honed it here. It's very, very good.
No, there's something. It's because the movement's so insane. Like, I will jump, dash forward, get an execute on one of those floating heads, be above a pit, and then because I have a perk that lets me reset my dashes on a glory kill, I just backwards dash back to the ledge. Like, it's ridiculous. It's so good.
It also has music like this. This makes you want to go make music, Bo. I'll bet you should go make some music.
It's really good. I can't even come close to this.
It's so good. It's so good. Mick Gordon, dude, that guy, killing it in this game. The last one was also very good. It's just really good.
No, the opportunity to take the basic ingredients and to run around and do cool plays and just figure when you're when you're playing like Heroes and like you kind of suck at a hero, but then it all sort of comes together and you're gracefully pushing the buttons and doing the thing. Like, it has that with the guns and all that. But I mean, you have to, I guess, be playing it as nonstop as I have, because I'm so deep on this game. Yeah. The multiplayer, I don't know if it'll have a long leg or anything like that, but it also succeeds at being fun and unique.
Did you try? So were you able to get into some games? Because I haven't actually done it.
And like, if I solo queue, you can just queue it'll just randomly assign you a team. So I usually get the Slayer. Mm-hmm. So you're the one guy versus the two, but you're super powerful. And like, it's funny because you have to kill both of the enemies within 20 seconds, and I couldn't do it. I could always kill one of them, but I can never kill both. It was so hard in time, because they can spawn minions to throw at you and stuff. Right. So not only are you fighting two people, but you're just playing like one of the matches you've been playing in single player with some of the stuff they're throwing at you. So I thought it was really, I got beat, but it's it's unique enough that I'm like really into it and interested. It's just cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep at it, and I really
we
like
can
it so far.
three-player it.
Yeah, we should totally do that because it's that asymmetric 3-player thing. John, thoughts, feelings about your time so far?
I like it. It's good. It's definitely, it's surprisingly cerebral. You hear Doom and you think run and gun, and it definitely has that on the surface, but if you try to just like, okay, well, I'm gonna just equip best gun and shoot until out of bullets and then move to next best gun, like you're gonna have a bad time with this game. Like this game is almost a puzzle game level, like thoughtful with how you have to encounter things and deal with things and pass through the challenges that they put before you. And there have been times like, and it's so weird to say this, where I've just gotten frustrated and been like, I'm done with this game, I don't know if I'm gonna play it anymore, and walked away. The first time you fight a boss marauder was a real like challenge point for me. I had a hard time with that, and I died and I died and I died and I died, and finally I just rage quit. Done with
Are you
this
talking about
game.
the
I'm not.
Doom Hunter or the Marauder? Is it the
Uh,
axe guy,
yeah,
or the
the axe
floaty
guy
sled
that
guy?
sends the axe guy that
Yeah. Okay.
sends
Yeah.
wolves after you.
That Marauder's just okay. We're talking about he
Yeah,
is like I had to stop playing too, and
and
that's
then
when I started my second campaign. I'm like, well, I can't get past this point. I don't want to make it easier, so let me start over.
yeah, so I went to bed because I was just like, I'm done. I don't know if I'm gonna play this game again. And then the next morning, I was like, well, I'm gonna play some more Doom. And I got in and I beat him on like the second try. And I was like, oh man, okay, all right. And it's the same thing that happens to me when I play a puzzle game, like that this is the same way that I would experience like Myst, where it's like, I don't know what to do with this game anymore. I'm done. And just call it a night. And then you wake up the next morning and you're like, wait a minute, I know what to do. I got this. And you go in there and you do it. And I'm kind of at that same spot because they've thrown a bunch of new enemy types at me all of a sudden. And I haven't gotten the flow of this new puzzle down of like, oh gosh, how do I deal with a marauder and a sled guy? And I can't remember the name, but the one that summons enemies. And
Archvile.
yeah, how do I deal with an archvile on top of all of this? And then you just turn around and there's just a mountain of bad guys because you thought the archvile was the most important thing to deal with, and everybody piled into a tube behind you, and now you can't get out. It's crazy, but it's really, really good. And going back and playing with cheats on is a blast.
Oh,
And I love that the game just is like, yeah, go back and play with cheats enabled. And it's like, well, can I unlock things? And they're like, yeah,
it's like
you want to unlock things? Go back.
It's like old
Hey,
Doom. They don't care. God mode.
you know how we set a challenge that you need to get X number of precision headshots, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot easier when you go into an old stage with infinite ammo and just use precision headshots on everything, and then it's unlocked in the main game when you get back into it. So it's really cool to kind of power up your character that way and to find all the collectibles you're missing. Whenever I get frustrated, I do kind of what Bo did, although it's not on a different save, but I do the mission select.
Yeah.
I go back to an old mission and I play through it with infinite ammo and, a bunch of other little cheats and stuff enabled just to have fun.
Did you try any master levels? I haven't yet. I'm curious about
I haven't
them.
gone into master levels yet.
Because the other thing about this game is that, it seems the master levels are maybe some kind of end game as well, content. So, and it remixes the levels. I wonder what that's going to be like in the future and stuff, because I'm kind of excited about that.
It's nuts. It's a really solid game. I'm enjoying it. It's tonally a little off for me. It's funny because I hear Bo raving about it in 10 out of 10. And when we were leading up to this, Bo expressed some serious concerns about this game. And when he was saying it, I was like, oh man, I don't really care about that. That's fine. And now we're here and I'm hearing him just rave about it. And the things he was worried about are the things that I'm like, man, I don't know how I feel about this, which is the story is a little more self-serious than I like. It's a little less like go out and just kill things. And it's a little more like, you're the Doom guy and you need to know his history and where he came from. And here's a bunch of, let's learn about the makers and all this stuff. And I just like, I don't know. You get the codex entries, and I feel like this time I'm compelled to read it because they're pushing the story a little harder, but I don't want to read it. I just want to kill demons.
I think because I had the same reservations as you, and I look at the story and I probably have the same opinion about, it's not very engaging, but I think it needs to be there as a foil so that the Doom guy, and through the view of the Doom guy, is just like, whatever, I don't care about this. Like somebody's got to be spewing some BS for you to be like react against it, your character, right? So I just pick, like there's like this betrayer guy, and your Doom guy is just like, whatever, just give me your gun and I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
So there's it wasn't it. At first, I was a little bit like judging it harshly on it, and then I realized I'm like, since when do I ever give a crap about a story in a Doom game, anyways? Like, it shouldn't be counted against it because that's just not what the Doom and Wolfenstein formula ever relied on to be fun. You know what I mean?
The Wolfenstein changed that. Like the Wolfenstein story, I care immensely about.
It's very good,
maybe too much, but the Doom story, yeah, I think honestly, I think the one slip up they did in this game, because this was the moment for me where I was like, am I gonna be happy about the story, is where that like king dude appears and he kneels, and I was like, who's he kneeling to? Why is he kneeling?
Yeah, I didn't
What's
love
he
that
doing?
Either.
I was like, he just kills demons and doesn't care when people talk to him, and suddenly he cares about this one dude.
Oh yeah, I got a question about that. Is that supposed to be like king of all Doom Slayers, and he's like just one of the line, and he's like the...
What I've pieced together from the lore is that there are these people called Sentinels, I think, or they're from Sentinel Prime, and maybe they're called Argenta. It's another race of people. They look very human, though. The Betrayer is one of them.
Okay.
That guy you meet that's by himself.
Right.
So the way I've pieced it together so far, and this might be spoilerish, but it's Doom, so who cares? That you appeared before them. They don't know where you're from. One day you appeared and they questioned, but he was so violent that they took him in and trained him as one of their own. So he doesn't belong to them. It's sort of, and it's implied that you're human that somehow made it to this other world called Sentinel Prime, became a Sentinel. Then the Hell Priests tricked the Sentinels to invade Hell, and there they were betrayed by the Hell Priests, and the Sentinels were all killed, all but one. The Doomslayer. And then the story of Doom 2016 is, they've imprisoned him and he's trapped for all this time in hell, but alive, just contained. But so the Sentinels are like an extinct race of people, but that's where he trained. And he does have a line of dialogue and a flashback at one point, but he was so engulfed in rage that he lost the ability to speak. Like at a certain point, you just never hear him.
So he doesn't talk anymore. He just goes.
Yeah, that's his new language.
And like my favorite level of this whole thing so far, I don't. You haven't gotten to it, Scott, but this was demoed, so it's not a spoiler. Actually, if you watch some of that demo, is where you go from Phobos, the moon of Mars, to the surface of Mars by shooting a hole in Mars.
Wow, really?
What's his face? Samuel is like. Is it Samuel? What's that? Hayden.
Yeah, Samuel
Hayden's like, so we can get to hell. Problem is, gates underground in Mars, kind of in the center of the planet. Doom guy is just like, no problem, and shoots a hole into the planet. And then he proceeds to jump from debris and put himself into cannons just to turbo shoot himself down to the surface.
That's amazing.
When you enter the gate to hell, it is so cool. It is the coolest thing I've ever done in a video game.
That's pretty great.
My favorite moment of all of that, though, is when he crash lands after shooting himself. There's a bunch of demons that are like fighting or just standing around, and they just turn and stare at you. And in theory, I think you're supposed to just immediately open fire and lay waste to them. But it kind of took me a second because I was just finding it amusing. And they just continue to stare there. They don't go like, oh, get him or anything. They're just like, they're so shocked at what you've just done that they just stare at you quietly for a minute.
I killed them too fast. I know exactly the moment you're talking about, and I killed them too fast to pay attention. Because they do that in the super shotgun sequence is also amazing. You probably haven't gotten there. Have you got the super shotgun?
No, is that the one where you reload every time and it's a double barrel one?
2 barrels.
I haven't got that quite yet.
Okay, so getting that part, the battle before that blood room, amazing, and also when you're handed that gun is one of the coolest moments.
Really?
I'm not going to spoil
Okay.
it because I love it. Yeah. It's so perfect.
I'm
Have
excited now.
you unlocked the special perk for the super shotgun bow?
Oh yeah, it owns.
It's so good.
It's your flame belch. That's your fire thrower that makes enemies spit armor.
Yeah.
The maximum perked up shotgun when you hook something with the meat hook will also set them on fire. So you hook them, bring yourself over to them, shoot them with the shotgun and a bunch of armor. You heal yourself as you're shooting them. It's ridiculous. It's so good.
It's such a cool cycle the way they do that.
They like nailed it. Like the alchemy that goes into, if it would have been just a little bit this way or that way, it would have ruined it. You know what I mean? They just got the right balance of.
That's good.
So
can you tell me lore wise if is this just all a rewriting of Doom and the old stuff doesn't matter?
No, the implication is that the protagonist of Doom and Doom 2 and Doom 64, when he finished all those games, was left wounded, crazy, wandering hell, and then was found.
Okay.
And trained and given additional powers. And it's the same guy. Because you do see a flashback with the old Doom helmet in it and all of that. And
so this is Doom. This is the Doom guy. He's now just a refined piece of fighting monstrosity hood.
Yeah, they basically powered him up.
Okay.
Also, this is worth getting. In the Fortress of Doom, you mostly unlock power-ups, but there's a classic Doom guy skin that is so good. It's just looks like leather, and then the helmet's looks like something out of an 80s sci-fi movie.
I want to see this.
The ab flap torn open, so his abs are just exposed.
No way.
It's perfect, and you don't have to pay for anything. You just unlock it in the game, and then it's permanently unlocked for all your future playthroughs.
All right, I got to see this because there's got to be something up. Oh, there it is.
Like Doom classic skin. It is so, and it's like that in all the cutscenes. So when you're going through all these cutscenes, instead of looking like a teched out, 2020 type science fiction idea, you look like this just. What the hell, 80s movie, dude?
Yep.
Like, it's so
he's
good.
Just got little gloves on. So even like when he's like grabbing things and pulling levers, it's just a little glove and a bare arm.
That's
doing
great.
It now.
That's great.
Like, I almost think they would have wanted to release this game with this skin, but I think this would have looked too weird to people. So they had to make it a skin or something.
I forgot that the original art had his stupid stomach showing. Like, that is so dumb.
He got, you remember in episode 3 when Natalie Portman gets attacked by the cat and it basically gives her a belly shirt?
Yeah.
Like, he had that happen to him. Like, he got sexy armor modded in the middle of combat, and now he's just got a little ab window permanently on his armor.
That's really great. I like that they're going that way. Apparently, also, there's a bunch of skins coming. Weird stuff, like an undead one where he's just like a lot of bones and stuff. Looks like he's got...
I have the Zombie Slayer one, but I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
I mean, it makes sense to add some of that stuff to this thing, give people more of a...
But I mean, it's fun because it's in the cutscenes too, so it's not just like a multiplayer thing. Like, I'm just like all the skins look pretty badass, I find. So
that original Doom art is so stupid.
All the demons look just thrilled to see him. They're just like, hey, bro, we're going to hang out. It's cool, man.
Yeah, it's a real weird thing. All right. Well, hooray for them. It seems like they have a big head on their hands, and good job. John, you also played No Man's Sky and Chrono. Why are you playing Chrono Trigger again? I know it's your favorite video game of all time, but what happened there?
Yeah, that was it. That's really all there is to tell. It's my favorite video game of all time, so it's time to play through it again.
Well... Cool. Is it?
I can't recommend it enough.
What version are you playing?
I'm playing the PC version, which is a little tricky. It looks a little weird on the high resolution screen. They have a cleanup, like high res graphics thing, which actually makes the sprites look okay, but the backgrounds immediately look like garbage. So it's been tricky to find how I like to play it. I do have a modded SNES Mini, which I might hook up and just play it there instead. But I think the PC version uses the new translation that they used in the 3DS version, and the new translation is really good. So,
cool.
It's hard to determine which is the best version of Chrono Trigger. I hope somebody does a definitive version at some point. That would be really nice.
That would be cool. And it never shows up in like like the SNES Mini and that didn't get it, and you just don't see it show up in places where.
Which is weird because it's considered one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah, it's not even in the Switch's library of SNES games where they keep adding them all the time, and I'm like, when's that one John loves going to show up? When's it going to show up? And it never shows up.
Yeah, it's odd, but yeah, played No Man's Sky. That was kind of my weird jumping between Doom Eternal to something else game where, very relaxing flying through space adventures and then killing demons horrifically.
Well,
but Scott, there's one we need to talk about.
Oh, what's that? Oh shit. The dumb demo for freaking Resident Evil 3 : dude comes into the save rooms now.com is out. You can play that demo. Brian, you apparently played it. I'm not playing the demo. I have the full game to play in April. I'm doing it next month.
April's not very far away, right?
I'm ready for it when it comes out for real, but I'm not going to do the demo and then do it again. Forget it.
The demo's really short. You got to get practice in, Scott. You got to get some practice.
Does he come into the save rooms?
The demo is great. No, he doesn't go into save rooms in this.
Okay. He does in the game.
In fact, he's barely in the demo.
Okay, does he jump?
Shows up at the very end.
Does he jump way ahead of you like I've seen in video?
Depends on how you play.
He's
dynamic. He does a lot of things.
Pee is going to come out of me when I play this. I just know it.
I think you should play the demo. It's like 25 minutes long. It's short.
You only want this so I will freak out twice about a thing.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I'm not.
Do you know how many people will sub to your channel and check out all
don't
the
you
fun?
Like money, Scott?
Yeah. How do you feel about money?
Wow. This is going places.
No, I just want to say I did play the demo. It's really good. I'm really excited for this game. The dodge mechanic is incredible. That's the coolest thing that they've put in this game, because there is something extremely satisfying about you're dealing with more zombies in general than you were in 2. In 2, it was like, okay, I'm in a hallway, there's 2 zombies. Now there's places where it's like, oh, there's 7 zombies coming towards me. And they are bullet sponges just like they were in 2. So okay, well, I can't just unload on them. I'm going to have to run, or I'm going to have to find some way to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they've added a new system where you press a button and Jill will dodge to the side. And if you time it just correct, they will miss their attack on you. You'll get a slowdown. And if you draw your weapon on the other side, she'll spin around in like slow-mo mode and be able to take a headshot on them. This also applies to the Nemesis.
Okay.
And so there were moments while I was playing where there would be 3 zombies and I'd get a perfectly timed dodge and dodge out of the way of one and they'd fall down, but that would put me in the path of another and they'd lunge at me and I get a perfect time dodge around that one. And then there'd be a third and I get a perfect time dodge around that one. And you just get to the other end and you're like, this is the best. This is the greatest. Like, it's what that game kind of needed, where they were encouraging you to save your ammo and all of that. Having an ability to actually try and counter what the zombies are doing to you is really empowering and really feels good. So it's a lot of fun. Nemesis is in it. He is very he's different than Mr. X for sure. I will say that I kind of figured out the seams. Like I'm hoping that it's a little less easy to see through the AI for him. I kind of figured it out pretty quick in the demo where it was like, oh, if I go here, he'll leave. Every time he'll leave as soon as I get to this one spot.
Okay.
So I would just go around and explore, and then he'd show up and I'd go, all right. And I'd go to that spot and he'd leave, and then I'd explore some more and all of that. And I started to kind of see through the patterns of it all. And, but it's good. It's really, really good. A lot of fun. I can't wait for the game.
I'm playing
Scott, you should play that demo. People will love it. Get a taste for it. You'll get good at dodging, and then you'll play the game and you'll be like, this is no big deal.
All right.
John, you'll say, John was right. And now I'm good at this game, and now it's not as scary to me because I am empowered and I feel good and I feel ready to fight zombies.
How is
Jill?
in this game?
Jill.
Is she good? Is she cool? Is she fun? Is she?
She seems kind of generic protagonisty.
Hmm.
Carlos seems to be he's been replaced by Keanu Reeves for some reason, like Shaggy Keanu Reeves.
Wait, he's not guest.
It's not actually him, but
okay.
it seems like somebody trying. It's like they said, "Hey, we want you to play him a little Keanu Reeves-esque."
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, like, kind of.
Who's big right now in the world?
Yeah.
Hey, how about Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, there's a bit of that.
And Barry's not in this, right?
No Barry.
That sucks.
Unless they add something.
But this dude,
Wesker.
he's in it. Wesker's in it.
Wesker?
Yeah.
I don't know if Wesker's in 3.
He says things. Let's see.
Jill.
Yeah.
Jill,
Jill.
I want to assure you, I'm not the villain of this.
But isn't he basically? I never played 3 in the day. Okay, so unlike 2, which I did play back in the day, I didn't play 3, so I don't know anything about this except for I knew about Nemesis and them retconning him backwards into 2's remake and now making him leap forward and be a dick and also walk into the room while you're trying to save stuff.
I don't think there's a lot of like character cameos except for everybody's favorite helicopter pilot Brad Vickers is in it.
Sweet.
But I think he's really the only recurring. He's not even really a recurring character.
Oh, well, here's a quote from him. Here you go.
I have the chaff.
All right.
No.
Yeah.
He has the chaff. All right. What else? Bo played a lot of Doom Eternal. Oh, you played a little Borderlands 3, did you?
Well, I bought that because we.
Oh,
missed
that's
a week,
right.
So I bought that in the lead up to Doom Eternal, and I actually got to say, as a review of that game too, it's pretty good. It's basically the Borderlands formula, but better. Like the jumping's more responsive, gunplay is better, a little better, not perfect.
Yeah.
It's not game of the decade like Doom Eternal, but it's still like it's very good entry in the Borderlands series, and it's fun. Yeah. That being said, there is a little. It still leans on some aesthetics from its original release, which I just don't think work anymore. Like zones have loading. It's very MMO questy, right? Like here, get this quest. Now go to this location. I'm like, I can do this online. It doesn't. It's a bit hollow. At least playing solo in the game a bit. I find this time around, and I wish they kind of streamlined it, or just maybe less downtime between. Action.
But is it still cool getting good guns and going? Yeah, that's a purple rare thing that I want to shoot. Like that's still good?
Yeah, it is actually. Like the gun. Like at first, the guns are all really bad, so you kind of got to get through this initial hump where the game's a little bad and the guns are a little bad because you're level 1 noob, and they don't really put a lot of effort into making you feel very cool and good at first. But it's starting to get better. Like the guns are starting to get cooler. There's mechanics, but it's just kind of same old. Like there hasn't been anything really new added to the game either. Like new in the way that Doom Eternal has refreshed shooter genre. You know what I mean? There's new characters. Doom Eternal.
Yeah, Doom Eternal, guys. It's a threat.
That's all I really feel like talking about. But it's good. I'm playing the robot guy. He's very cool.
Yeah.
I think the characters don't look that exciting when you kind of look at them on a poster or even watch the trailer, but they're actually he has this weird Spock-like personality. He's kind of just he makes all the situations uncomfortable, but is very muted emotionally. I like that character quite a bit.
Does he sound like this?
Activate Pac-Man.
Is that
not at all?
No. Okay. All right. It's a little.
He more
Spocky.
sounds like this, like a typical robot.
Yep, that's every robot I've met.
Yeah, of all the ones I've met, that's one of them.
Jill.
All right. Anyway, hey, look at this. What else? Oh, you watched a bunch of Half-Life Alyx. So I found out today. Okay, let me back up. They're making. Apparently, that game's really good. Apparently, it's
also
amazing.
a 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah, everyone's raving about it and losing their minds, and it's a VR game, and that alone is a big deal. So,
also, it's like Resident Evil 3. I don't. It's scary.
It's gonna scare me, for sure. Everything I've seen
really
video-wise
scary.
looks like it's gonna just freaking kill me. But it's great to see something finally get the kind of accolades that you normally reserve for games that aren't VR, and people are really freaking out about it. So here's the thing: I have an Oculus Quest. I really like that device. It's coming to that device natively. I didn't realize I guess I kind of did, but I can plug a cable in now. I have the cable, and I can play that game on Steam if I want.
Yeah,
If
that
I
was
use
like a
the
news
cable.
item, like I want to say 6 months ago, where they unveiled this, and then everyone was like, "Why would I buy the more expensive version?" They didn't tell people at the time of launch of
Oh
the
yeah,
products.
yeah. We've
Yeah.
been through that. But as far as this goes, I thought Alyx was only going to run on Valve headsets and on Vive headsets, and that was it. I didn't think the Oculus Psi was going to get them.
No, you didn't know that.
I didn't know
Oculus
that. That's
run
what
on
threw.
here.
That's what threw me. I knew they were making a native version for the Quest, and that was coming, and that still is coming. But it didn't launch on launch day. If I get this now
Oh,
on
you
Steam,
mean the other models?
correct?
Okay.
Because that game's coming out on everything that does VR. Like PlayStation's getting a version.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's happening. But obviously the PC version's the flagship version. That's the one I really want to play. And now that I know I can do that, I may just play that thing. But also
you should, but just be careful. It's scary. So what you can do is when you play on your headset on the screen, there's a HUD,
yeah,
so that people can sit with you and watch what you're doing in the game.
Right.
So my friend Crofton, whom I now talk about as a regular thing on the show, apparently, he streamed it to me over Discord.
Right.
So I was watching his HUD from my home because we're all quarantined, right?
Right.
I can't go over and try it.
Right.
And I watched him for like 4 hours last night. I was enthralled.
You were that into
And I didn't even have the VR, but like I've used VR, so I kind of know what he was going through. And like the head crab would just jump
yeah.
and just get near him. And it has this floaty. It's not like super agile like a Doom monster. It just kind of floats and hits the ground. And this is Crofton. Ah! He's getting me! He's coming to get me! And it was so much fun. Like you're gonna hate that. You should play with John in your ear.
So that John can laugh at me.
The first levels, you're like stuck in the sewers with those tongue guys.
Yeah.
And it's a Half-Life game, which means it's part puzzle. So like there's one point where you're in this room full of those zombie guys, but there's also explosive barrels everywhere, which the game up to that point has taught you to pick up explosive barrels, throw them at enemies, and shoot with your gun, right?
Yeah.
Well, in this room, if you explode a barrel, the whole room explodes.
Oh.
So that, and like every angle, because it's in VR, it's like, oh, I got a shot. Then the zombie moves, and behind him is an explosive barrel, and you're like, I almost shot the barrel. It's incredible. It's out of this world.
Yeah, I need to
is.
freaking play it. I think I need to play it. It just sounds like there's so much Half-Life in there too, and we all missed that terribly. And it sounds like they made a proper game, like a legit game. So, man, the reviews on Steam are through the freaking roof. So, I think we're in for a good time. So I'll try that out. We'll see how it goes. Now, time for this.
That's a good question.
A quick email from JP. This is not JP, as far as I know.
Oh, not JP.
Not JP.
Or Japes, as we sometimes call him.
Japes, yeah. I miss that guy, though. He was great. I like that guy.
Yeah, me too.
He says, did I tell you I met him when I was in Columbus? I got to hang out with him for a bit. It was fun.
Oh, I think so. I remember you were going to do a talk there.
He was at a comics convention thing that I went to, and he was great. He was exactly what you think he is. Super nice. Great guy to hang around. Anyway, this isn't him. This is some other JP. He says, a core question for the core gamers. I hope this is the right place to post core questions. I could just be blind, though. He means about where he sent it. Anyway, I wanted to say that the whole lolly waifu interaction had me cracking up so hard. But when Bo said, quote, and then you have traps, unquote, I nearly crashed my car. Anyway, as far as my question goes, Scott, it seemed like you wanted to say something about EVE Online and then stopped yourself. I'm curious what it was going to be, and even more curious about what stopped you. EVE is such a cool thing to read about, but it's so hard to get into. All right, JP.
I like that it's an email about Eve, but it opens with the waifu trap business.
I mean, he must have been in the
so
know.
What do you want us to talk about?
Well, all right. So here's... I don't remember the Eve thing or why I stopped talking about it.
I remember. I put it in the list of stuff, but we didn't actually talk about it. You might have started, but we had a pretty full roster, so you might have cut it.
What was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. So,
here it is. EVE Online player thinks no one will notice he hauls $5,000 worth of items is wrong. EVE Online players are like the Illuminati of gamers at this point, is what it says. Is this the story?
Yeah, so this article went up on PC Gamer again, that it goes up every now and then, about a guy who loaded a ship full of $5,000 worth of like real world value ISK, game real time money you can sell and turn into $5,000.
Yeah.
He loaded it all up on a ship thinking he'd be fine. And then he got ambushed and robbed. And I'm like, that game scares me so much.
I know.
That actually happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
It's so hard and impenetrable to get into it and to get going. But the things that happen at the high level, the things that happen at that high level of that game are so fascinating to me. Like, it's just like
criminal
crazy.
Masterminds. Like, it's like a petri dish or like a lab. You know how there's lab rats. They're like real human lab rats in a virtual world with some of the most disgusting, despicable, proudly so, people that are ruthless about control of territory and trade and stealing from people. And I mean, most of our games, keep in mind, all this is considered like things that rub people the wrong way, like ninja looting. So let's get this out of the game. And Eve's like, no, we still got it. You want to screw over your buddy that you're friends with for 20 years? Have at her.
Oh yeah, they don't care.
Do it.
Yeah,
and the betrayals and even the real world consequences to some people who get doxxed for playing the game. Like it's such a wild. I'm so scared. I want to log in because I'm fascinated by it, but I just can't. I'm too scared.
Well, here's the deal with this dude. Player named Lactose. He's probably got the farts. Anyway, he was ambushed by another player or other players while hauling a lifetime's worth of treasure, losing an astonishing 150 billion ISK, which is EVE Online's currency in the game. But it goes even further. It gets worse. After you look at the kill report, the damages are higher. Player estimated the total loss, including the ship, to be 500 billion ISK, which is the equivalent of $5,000 USD when converted to EVE Online subscription time, which you can do with your ISK. It's easily one of the most expensive ship kills since EVE Online launched 16 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, so it's literally worth 5,000. You can cash that out for by selling game time.
That's crazy.
Like that. He just put it in a ship and set sail and thought, "This is
like
a good
you can
idea."
take it to a craps table or a poker table, but then you know what you're getting into, or you can lose it playing a spaceship simulator.
And now I've got $5,000. What if I loaded it into this spaceship and flew through pirate-infested space?
Yeah, maybe he
idea.
got overconfident because, he's had it forever and he just kind of lost his edge, I guess, or I don't know.
What was his potential reward for this situation, though? Like, that's what I'm curious about. Like, what did he hope to gain from this decision?
Dude, greed is a dirty mistress. Should get you no matter what. He was probably off
getting
getting
more
money.
Someone might have messaged him saying, "I know your secret. Put your things over here and do as I say." So he might have been already part of some other evil plot and then got double plotted,
Could have been. Yeah. Could have been.
Like, who knows? Everything about that game is dark and shady and just the worst aspects of humanity on full display to bathe in glory.
Yeah.
Like, it's like lie, cheat, steal, form corporations to choke out other corporations from control of valuable resources. It's nuts. And it's an old ass game, and they'd rather play that than like Elite Dangerous or No Man's Sky.
Oh, wow. Look at this. So, okay, the full name of the character his full name is Lactose Intolerant. That's the name of the character. He belonged to the corporation in the game called Among Shadows. He's been playing since day one of this game, since it launched in 2003.
Wow.
It says he also had on the ship a stash of blueprints, which weren't bought through microtransactions, but slowly accrued over 16 years of playing. Those were really valuable, I guess. The guy won't talk about it. He won't talk to anyone about the thing. He must be just bummed out, man.
There's some newer guy who's probably played for 6 months, joined a crew of pirates, and just hit a huge payday. I got 16 years worth of player progression.
What a
from
fun
that one
thing,
kill.
though. What other video game can claim this kind of weirdness? None of them.
And that guy will probably never have a higher moment than that kill. That's also kind of random because probably nobody transports 5,000, like a lifetime worth of equipment in a ship.
Yeah.
So that person right now is in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I got $5,000. Time to go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
He's in a hotel drinking Mai Tais or whatever they're called and playing EVE Online in Mexico.
Well, if you I'm gonna do some quick calculations. 500 0000000. That's 500 billion divided by what do we was $5,000? So $5,000. That's each dollar is worth 100 million. I can't do the math. But that's
third thing we're not allowed to talk about.
Number 3, math. Yeah, I can't.
I think I'm okay on math.
Yeah, are you? What do you think that was then for the conversion? Because
So what are we
5,000.
trying to?
I don't. Yeah, that was the thing. I don't know what we were doing. I don't know why we did 500.
You started doing the formula out loud like a Beautiful Mind style, but we weren't.
Yeah,
Well, we were following along because we assumed you knew what you were doing.
Trust me, I'm nowhere. I can't do like that guy. So 5,000.
So what were you trying to figure out?
So that's what I was trying to figure out. What is the if it's 500 million ISK or 500 billion ISK and it's worth 5,000 real world dollars,
500 billion. Okay.
how much is? What was I trying to find out?
Well, no wonder your math didn't pan out. You don't even know what you were trying to prove. You're just like, here's numbers from the story.
These numbers are insane.
I can't think of why I wanted to know.
The results I'm getting.
What is the dollar? Oh, what is the dollar per ISK? So if you had to say,
ISK.
yeah,
So 500.
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, hang on. All right.
There are several different numbers in this news story. I've plugged all of them into a calculator, and the results are shocking.
You won't believe what happened. Click here to see. All right, well, let's find out what that. Yeah, the conversion rate is what I'm looking for.
So it's 100 million ISK is $1.
Okay, 100 million ISK. Oh, so I was right. 100 million ISK per dollar. I just didn't realize it in my head as I was looking at it.
Think of it as like 5,000.
Yeah.
You know, one. Yeah.
So is it worth? I guess my question is, what was he going to do if he had never gotten caught or busted or robbed?
Well, chat room points out that you can't cash out in the game. So while there is a monetary value associated with it because you can spend real money to attain this, there's not going to be a like sipping Mai Tais anywhere, no matter what your big score.
Yeah, of course, because you can't convert it to real world currency. The ISK is not transferable. However, it is usable as game time. So if you were to use it as game time, he would never have to pay for the game ever again in the history of his life, and probably many times over that.
You think he's done playing?
I would be after this. Are you kidding? To start over with all that lost, unless he's really into the role playing of it. You know, he may be really into this idea that I jettisoned away.
There's an empire in my vision that I'm gonna build, but yeah, it's just a game, dude. Like, maybe just do some other things before you die.
Yeah, I'm super curious about it. Also, I wonder if there's like a black market-y thing where you could sell ISK on, Chinese trader markets or something and make real money with it.
That's the thing I don't know. The whole game scares me. For all I know, like the underworld trading is going on in EVE Online for illicit services. I mean,
it's fascinating. It's one of those things I wish I was good at or cared about more in terms of the penetration of it, so that I could then experience this weird back end of it, because it's so weird.
Scott, I want us to do a bet right now.
Go.
Do you think that at any point between now and whenever this show of ours comes to an end, Bo comes on this show and is like, well, I'm playing EVE Online, and that's his game of the week? You think it ever happens?
I could see a scenario where, yes, that could happen.
No, I think I've tried it though. I know what's in there. I had a friend who really wanted to rope me in, good friend Al, because he was playing it for a while. He's like, "Oh, everything else is a baby game. This is a real game." And he likes a good, intense, tough game. And so I gave it a try. The last that we talked about, he was laughing at me for my nub decision. I had 8 hard points, I think, or whatever, where you put guns.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of different lenses for lasers. So I put all the lasers of a rainbow because I thought it looked cool when I shot. It was all the different colors, but apparently that's really bad to do because you don't kill anything because it's different damage types and stuff.
Yeah.
So I couldn't kill anything. I was playing really, really badly, and I was like, this game's not fun.
Yeah.
I need pretty lasers on my spaceship.
I mean, the game's still just beautiful, right? Like they've kept it up to date. It looks great. I love how it feels to be in that space and that music behind it. It's just so cool. And then I'm presented with, what do I need to do to play this? And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't do all. Look at this giant. And people always joke, oh, it's a spreadsheet with a really nice graphical interface. But yeah, it kind of is. And that's not compelling to me. Now,
I
running
think it happens. I'm with you. Bo eventually plays it.
I think you're right, though. I do think Bo will eventually play it. And then
Bo's the only one who's like, no, it's not happening.
You know why?
I can't do MMOs. It has to be a really good MMO.
But this is why. This is why. Because as you say those words, we just recently came off of the Bo World Tour of freaking Black Desert Online. and some dress
busted.
Some weird dress you spent a bunch of money on and all that. Like
what happens in Grand Theft Wasted? That's me, right?
Yeah,
now.
Wasted.
Black and white.
Wasted. But yeah, I think there's if that hadn't happened, if we hadn't just gone through that particular gauntlet, I'm not sure I'd feel as strongly.
And Black Desert Online is like the perverted uncle of EVE Online.
Wait,
so it's not a far. This isn't a far stretch.
Why perverted and why uncle?
That place is herpes ridden. Because all they ever talk about is waifus, boobs, and weird stuff in that server chat. And every chat you go in, that's public. Like,
I see.
It's all It's.
I thought they just talked about Alienware computers all day.
Well, that's the most PG part of the conversation. We take a break from all the inappropriateness to talk about Alienware and share memes.
Weird,
but like
man.
mostly, it's like waifu, lolly business in the chat. So it's,
lolly.
Because like part of that game is it's also like a character creator simulator with glasses and lingerie for your buxom dream girl fighting person, and you see them in the city. Like it's like a red light district in some of the towns you go in, and you're just like, what the hell happened? Where did I turn wrong? Because they're wearing all these weird, sexy costumes in like a fantasy medieval. It's like 20th century lingerie in like Lord of the Rings fantasy land. It's ridiculous.
Are you ever tempted to just install Second Life and see what's happening in there? I sometimes do.
No, because I played Second Life. What was it? Second Life?
Second Life, yeah.
I logged in a few times and like I just found all the turbo dildo joints and stuff like that. Like, I'm just like it's not fun. Like it was just not. I'm like, this is just gross for the sake of being gross, and it's not fun, and I'm never doing this again.
Well, that's why I want to see.
Is it still operating?
I think so. Let's see. Second Life. Let me just see. Yeah, it's still. You can go. SecondLife.com.
Go back to the turbo dildo hut.
Here it is, right here. You click to allow to continue. Okay, that's what I don't want them to show notifications.
This looks,
something's fishy.
I don't like
here.
when a site drops me right on the sign up screen.
Yeah, this is. Don't go to this place. Something's up here. What the heck?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Second Life is gone.
No, I'm on join.secondlife.com. It's just it doesn't take you to a nice splash page. It takes me to a create my account page like right away.
Oh, here it is. The ad they had over here was totally wrong. All right, so Second Life, your world, your imagination. Look at all these people. They've upgraded the graphics and stuff. Look at this.
Yeah, is it worth getting back into, you think, man?
I doubt it. I just want to see how psycho it is.
I doubt it.
I want to see how weird it is. Like, I want to get in there and say, well, they got a place in here called Murder City. What is that? Let's find out.
Yeah. So, look, go to trending, the most popular destinations. Big Daddy's 80 Club.
Big Daddy's 80s Club, Portal Park 2, Hollywood Airport, Portal Park 1, Totally 80s Club, Rockin' Robin Retro Club. What they don't tell you is there's like full on like getting it on in here.
Everyone's naked. Cinnabar looks like the hot spot.
I kind of want to just.
There's some woman in a bikini barfing blue mist.
You know what? Here before the next core, I'm getting back into Second Life to see what's up.
Do we want to?
What? Really?
Yeah. Live raid
I've done it, before.
Next week, let's live raid on the show. Second, let's get all of our listeners.
I don't want to
the show
even
next
get
week.
into Second Life, but I will enjoy watching you all.
Everyone live, listen. We'll make a thing of it next week, Wednesday. Install, and we'll just find some place to go hang out.
They've massively updated the graphics. This looks a lot better than it used to. This used to be ugly.
It's true. It does look like, Oh,
better. There's a romance section. Look at this. Meet people who share your passions, have fun, flirt, date, and even fall in love. Explore exotic places like Frank's Place or Skinny.
That seems dangerous. No.
Yeah, this is all pretty weird.
Place.
All right. I may have to get in there. I'm just saying, I want to know what that is in 2020 because the last time I was in there was like 2006 when I thought it was like a cool idea that we're in a virtual world, man. It's just like living in the future. And then things, then this, and it never happened. It never became that destination. So what is it today? I want to know.
I don't know. Somebody might be making money. It says last year they paid out more than $60 million to creators.
$60 million last year in 2019. They shelled out that much money to people who make stuff in the game.
That's
I'm
what they
trying
claim.
to remember what it was that I was into when I was a kid, like 1998, and I remember it was 98 because there was a Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie tie-in with this thing. It was a place where it was nothing but like 3D worlds and chat rooms.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember what it was called though.
It might have
And
been
it was
this.
just like
Because hasn't this been around that long? How long? Wait, Second Life. How long has it been around?
I don't think it was Second Life though.
I'm going to find out when it launched because I don't remember. Second Life. Oh, that's 2003, so I was a ways into it.
Yeah. So it was this thing where you would just go and it was just like basically a chat room and like the most rudimentary 3D stuff in the world. And you could like create your own houses. And it was people. Oh, I see. People are saying First Life.
First Life.
I don't know. I don't remember what it was called.
I think they're making that up. I don't think there was.
And everywhere
a First Life.
you went, was it Microsoft 3D chat? I don't think that.
Maybe. Could have been.
But everywhere you went, people would be playing middies and there'd be animated GIFs of flags up. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest place. Wasn't AOL.
See, I love stuff like that. Some of that weird early, like we're putting graphics to internet things kind of time. I love that stuff.
I just can't remember what it was called.
Microsoft 3D
maybe
chat.
it's Outer Worlds.
Oh.
Or Alpha Worlds. That sounds right.
Alpha Worlds? I don't know. That sound right?
Is this like Second Life, but some other thing?
It was like Second Life in a lot of ways. It might be Outer Worlds. This seems right, actually. I think it's called Outer
Now
Worlds.
we're even more confused about the Outer Worlds, the Outer Wilds, and now there's an Outer Worlds.
Let's just
perfect. Let's just keep going. All right. Well done. Great email. Got us down a nice rabbit hole. Appreciate that there, JP. All right. I think that's going to do it for today's show. Hey, don't forget, this show is available anywhere you get your podcasts. And one thing we really appreciate is when you spend your time doing a little review wherever you got it. If you like it on iTunes or Google Play. Oh, Google just updated their Android podcast player. It's a nice update. And it's also on iOS now. So if you guys are looking for another competitor in the podcast player market, that one's out there and available as of today. Anyway, leave us reviews wherever you get your shows. That'd be cool. You can also support us on our Patreon, patreon.com/core show. If you're thinking, man, I'd sure like some cool extra stuff like pre-show stuff or other things, you can get them at patreon.com/core show. All right. Frogpants.com/core is our website. You can find everything there, including our Twitter accounts, CorePod for the show, John_Jagger for John. You can also find Bo at Bo Schwartz, and I'm at Scott Johnson. We're here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time for the live show. If you want to come be a part of that, that'd be great. Thank you guys for watching who are here. And that's going to do it for us. For me, for Bo, for John, for all of you. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
We did.